I don't believe somebody actually booked this garbage. We are live, man. Monday Night Raw. The night of rematches. You gotta love it. I could have sworn that I watched the rerun of last week's show. Randy Orton wants to be a makeshift luchador. At least he had a mask on to cover the burns. The Hurt Business seems to be hurting internally. Charlotte Flair can't even bring Peyton Royce to a good match. Ricochet is 100% a certified loser. And Alexa Bliss has transformed into a Fiend, or whatever the female version of a Fiend is. We're going to talk about it as we are on the road to the Royal Rumble. This is the only post show you need on your Monday night, man. We're going to talk about it all, plus your Monday Night Raw news and rumors, and we're going to talk about the two-night WrestleMania in Tampa this year. This is Off the Script.
This fucking foliage? Is this what you want, Mr. Dips? Is this what you want? Me standing in front of EC3 buying designer coats? Is this what you want? Me sitting in some hipster hotel in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, fluffing pillows? Is this what you want? I don't believe this. This graffiti art, it's the hotels, avocado toast. All I want is a fucking Guinness. An ice cold Guinness. What the hell does that mean? Oh, this is what you wanted. This is your Monday Night Raw review right here on Off the Script.
What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. It is January 18th, 2021, and this is your Monday Night Raw review from the world acclaimed and award-winning WWE Thunderdome. Monday Night Raw, man. Listen, I could sit here and shit on this show to everybody's heart's content, but I really don't even want to sound like a broken record, man. This show sucks. Let's get that right out of the gate, man. This show sucks, okay? Legitimately, all Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard did for this show was recycle last week's show. When Vince asked for the script at 7:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, he asked, Bruce, where's the script? And then Bruce wasn't ready, obviously, because he was too busy watching 50 First Dates over the weekend. And then he went into the trash pail that is conveniently in the catering area, because that's where everybody congregates. And he pulled out last week's script and gave it to Vince McMahon, and Vince McMahon didn't really read anything over because that's not his job. That's not what Vince McMahon is paid the big bucks to do. This was an entire show of rematches, man. An entire show of rematches with barely anything new to offer. Charlotte Flair, Ric Flair, seen it, done it. Peyton Royce, Lacey Evans, who gives a shit? The Hurt Business and Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle got buried last week. Who gives a fuck? Ricochet and AJ Styles was easily the best thing on this show tonight as far as an in-ring perspective. And then Ricochet, obviously, good luck on that 4-year deal, bro. Good luck. Your handcuffs are as tighter as a fucking 16-year-old virgin's pussy. Ricochet. Unreal. The guy is absolutely buried beyond recognition. And then we got Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss and the Fiend. This has been probably one of the more entertaining aspects of Monday Night Raw. And Bray Wyatt obviously is out and he's off TV. He was burned to a crisp. So he's not coming back. I don't know when he's coming back. I don't know how he will be brought back. I don't know. But Alexa Bliss has taken over for Bray Wyatt since he has gone missing. And everybody knows the problem that I had with Alexa Bliss early on, and why I didn't really appreciate her, and why I wasn't a fan, and all this nonsense back and forth. You guys know what happened with Alexa Bliss last year, and the troll account that wanted to pretty much exist just to get me in hot water, because that's what these fucking cretins do. But I will say this, man, and I will say it every single time, because I've kind of made a living telling you guys when the show was good and telling you when the show was bad. But Alexa Bliss is doing the best work of her career. And I mean that wholeheartedly. It's not a troll. And I honestly think that my fan base, and even if you're new around here, you should appreciate that and you should understand that. Alexa Bliss is doing the best work of her career. And Bray Wyatt, the longer he is out, I know there are a ton of Bray Wyatt fans out there, but the longer he is out, she will, and I mean this, she will, if not already, she will be the top draw in that duo. It was the other way around. It was Bray Wyatt, the star, and Alexa as the co-star. Now it's Alexa, the star, and Bray Wyatt is going to be the co-star. Now, I hope, and there's no reason for us to hope because it's WWE creative, and everything that they do and everything that they touch turns to shit anyway. But I do hope that when Bray Wyatt comes back, that he is different, that something has changed about him, whether it's appearance-wise or character-wise, what we see in the funhouse. Maybe it's something that he tweaks in the ring that he does differently than before. I don't know. But all I hope for is that something is done differently to bring Bray Wyatt back so that he doesn't look the same. And I hope that all of this is going to eventually make him a bigger star. That his return is going to be looked at as a big deal because of what she is doing. I hope so. And more than likely it will. But the thing with WWE is, and I think everybody is accustomed to this, when something is good and we get excited as a fan base, normally they deliver on it. When you get that big return or you get that first glimpse of excitement, normally everybody is riding high. But in typical WWE fashion, it's always the follow-up. They can never follow through, or they could never really carve this thing out as far as long-term vision or long-term storytelling. And from seasoned veterans and from longtime viewers like myself, and I'm sure most of you watching me, I think we've kind of learned our lesson over the years never to give WWE the benefit of the doubt, because they will always let you down. And they don't deserve the benefit of the doubt until they change their ways and deliver consistently. But Alexa Bliss has been the best thing in this entire act. She has been. And this is the best work of her career. From facial expressions to mannerisms. And I'll even go out there and say, and I know a lot of people don't really look at her as far as a, work rate perspective, but she got better in the ring. Now, I don't know how much training or extra training she's doing. I don't know if Bray is, rubbing off on her a little bit. Because Bray is good. Bray can be good when he wants to be good. But she's gotten better in the ring. And that much I will say. She's not as treacherous as she was before. She's actually leapfrogged several others on that roster. So she's nowhere near the worst women's wrestler on the roster. But she's doing the best work of her career. And tonight really put an exclamation point on that if you were one of those fans that was not really feeling what was going on. Now, I got my reservations, like I say, and we'll go over that a little bit later, but that was the big takeaway from tonight's show. The body of work that Alexa Bliss is doing as far as her being a part of this Fiend character, excellent work. And I know a lot of people are reaching out to me via messages and tweets that you didn't like the way Asuka was pinned clean in the middle of the ring. It was a little hokey. It was a little silly that Alexa Bliss held Asuka in the finishing move for about 8 seconds. Sister Abigail, she held Asuka in the Sister Abigail for about 8 or 9 seconds. And Asuka did nothing to battle herself out of that hold. And that was when she had unleashed a flurry of offense on Alexa Bliss. And Alexa Bliss comes back with a out-of-nowhere Sister Abigail, and she holds Asuka in the Sister Abigail, looks into the camera with this demented look, delivers the finishing move, and pins Asuka 1, 2, 3. I'm not really upset that Asuka lost. The old JD would be upset that Asuka lost. If this was 6 months ago, I would have been upset that Asuka lost. But you got to ask yourself, guys, what is WWE doing for Asuka, the Raw Women's title, and what are they doing for this title reign? They're not doing anything. They have not lined up an opponent for Asuka. Everybody was like, oh, Asuka's back, and they're teaming her with Charlotte. This will probably end up tearing them apart. And that'll be your WrestleMania match. Nobody wants to see that at WrestleMania again. Why would WWE go and do that? Seriously. That is completely uninteresting to everybody. But I'm not upset that Asuka lost. Because WWE is not doing anything with her anyway. So I want to put that to bed. You should not be upset that Asuka lost. Asuka's been lost on Monday Night Raw. So this really didn't factor into what is happening with Asuka anyway. But Alexa Bliss was the standout on tonight's show with her performance in the final segment of the show in that main event. And we got a lot to go over. Not just Alexa Bliss, man. We're going to go over the WrestleMania news that was seemingly announced during the playoff football games on Sunday. That WrestleMania will be taking place at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. And they moved it from the last Sunday in March to April. So we are looking at an April WrestleMania. And I got news on that, my thoughts on that. And WWE is actually replacing WrestleMania in March with WWE Fastlane. I can't stand these gimmick pay-per-views. So here we are with another one. Don't know why, but WWE is giving us Fastlane. And they just did not announce WrestleMania this year. They announced WrestleMania 38, and they announced WrestleMania 39. So we will go over that. We will go over Drew McIntyre and his COVID situation. And we will go over some interesting comments revealed by MVP. Very open about what he wants for Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania. So we will go over that, plus so much more on tonight's show, man. Thank you guys so very much for joining me. We are looking at 1,600 live right now. Thank you guys for spending your Monday night with me here on Off the Script, live on YouTube. Make sure you guys hit those thumbs up, man. We got 394 likes right now. Please, let's try and get that up to at least 750. So if you guys are in the chat right now and you have not hit the thumbs up on the video, please go and do that. Every little bit helps out the live stream and helps out the video after it publishes to YouTube, man. Super chats are open. If you guys want to get your chats in, we'll hang out at the end of the show. They are always open all stream long. So get them on in, and like we usually do, we'll save them for the end of the show. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That is on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Turn on that bell for all notifications. If you're new around here and you guys really want an in-depth, real, unfiltered conversation about what you guys watch every single week when it comes to WWE and on Wednesdays with AEW, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Nobody in the IWC does it like we do right here on Off the Script. And make sure you guys check out my sponsor for tonight's show, man. We are sponsored by Dr. Squatch. DrSquatch.com. You're going to use code SCRIPTS at checkout, and you're going to save 20% off. And they have been a great sponsor of the show, man. Dr. Squatch with their soaps, their colognes, their toothpaste. They got shampoos and conditioners, deodorant. I want you guys to look your best, feel your best, smell your best using Dr. Squatch. You guys are already watching the best, so it goes hand in hand. DrSquatch.com. Use code SCRIPT at checkout for 20% off your entire purchase. And I want to thank them for supporting and sponsoring tonight's show right here on Off the Script. I want to start off with the WrestleMania news. And I know I tweeted about it, but I didn't really make any additional videos on this particular topic. Now, WWE has announced WrestleMania will be in April. WrestleMania 37 will be a 2-night event this year, April 10th and April 11th. And that is going to be emanating from Raymond James Stadium in Tampa Bay. So what is WWE doing with the pay-per-view in March? It looks like we will be getting Fastlane from the Thunderdome, and Fastlane will be on Sunday, March 21, 2021, and that has been confirmed already by PW Insider. Fastlane is a WWE, or has been at least a WWE staple on the road to WrestleMania. And I even said it in my tweet before this news broke. I don't think WWE needed a pay-per-view in March. I think if WWE went without a pay-per-view in March, I think everything would be the same. WWE is only going to further complicate things. It's going to feel a little redundant. It's going to feel a little overwhelming with so much content because WWE moved the Elimination Chamber back. They moved that back as well, I believe. So now we got Fastlane, and then you got WrestleMania happening on April 10th. So you're looking at 3 weeks between Fastlane and WrestleMania. That, to me, is unnecessary. I think too many pay-per-views is one of the major problems for WWE. So why are we getting Fastlane when WWE has WrestleMania happening legitimately in the first week of April? I don't really understand that. I get that they want network subscribers, fine. But you're 3 weeks away from WrestleMania. Why do you need an additional pay-per-view that at the end of the day, nobody's going to give a fuck about? Now, I really shouldn't be complaining because there's only extra content for me and extra content for you guys. But I'm looking at it as far as a creative. I'm looking at it as a way to better Monday Night Raw and SmackDown on Fox. What I would realistically like to do, and I know a lot of people that listen to me know that I love the 2016 era of SmackDown. And when Ryan Ward wrote SmackDown in 2006, this was before Jinder Mahal fucked everything up. When Ryan Ward was there, SmackDown got the major short end of the stick coming out of the 2016 draft. It was almost that SmackDown was NXT Light. They were going to use that as a platform to get everybody ready to graduate to Monday Night Raw. And that's exactly what it was used. But the thing is, when SmackDown in 2016 was used as the B show platform, they ended up being the A show because it was the most well-written show in all of WWE, not named NXT. And then Vince obviously seen the ratings coming in and SmackDown was beating Raw and everybody wondered why. And it's been the same fucking song and dance with me for God knows how long I've been on here. If you write consistent television that is engaging and you give a reason for people to watch, they will watch on a weekly basis. If you make things feel important, if you move away from the campy, cringy comedy, and you focus on stories and building characters and getting people to care and making the matches feel important, then you add that dose of in-ring work. Everything's going to come out the way you want it to be. 2016, at the end of that year, they didn't have a pay-per-view. They were doing the on and off brand pay-per-views. Raw had a pay-per-view, SmackDown had a pay-per-view. But December came and SmackDown didn't have a pay-per-view. WWE wasn't going to do a Raw pay-per-view and a SmackDown pay-per-view in the same month, knowing that they got the Royal Rumble coming up in January. So Monday Night Raw, I believe, had TLC. SmackDown didn't have anything. So what did Ryan Ward do? They built an entire pay-per-view card for SmackDown. That's exactly what they did on that final SmackDown in 2016. I'll never forget it. Unbelievable show. Probably the best SmackDown of that entire year. Why doesn't WWE do that? Why aren't we getting Monday Night Raw and SmackDown now built like pay-per-views instead of giving us a Fastlane pay-per-view that really at the end of the day is not going to matter to anybody? I would rather them focus all of their energy on making Raw feel good. I would rather them focus their energy on making Raw look good and feel important. Same thing with SmackDown, but they're not doing that. And they probably won't ever do that because they are thick-headed and they are stuck in their formulaic ways. Fastlane is not needed. Fastlane is not needed at all. Now, as far as my WrestleMania thoughts, the reason why I think WWE is doing another 2-night WrestleMania is for one reason and one reason only. There will be fans. It's already been confirmed. WWE said that they will be reaching out to local officials and authorities in the state of Florida for ticket information and what they're going to be doing about ticket sales and getting those sales out to the public. There will be fans at WrestleMania. I think we all knew this, but I've been saying it for weeks now. And I said it on Twitch when I was on Twitch this past weekend. WWE is going to be monitoring football. They're going to be monitoring the Super Bowl. And the Super Bowl is taking place at Raymond James Stadium on February 7th. Now, I think that the Super Bowl is going to have at least 20 to 30,000 people in attendance. They'd be foolish not to get people in there. It's the biggest ticket of the year. As long as they follow social distancing guidelines and everybody's wearing masks and all this other nonsense that you need to abide by, it should be fine. WWE is doing 2 nights. 2 nights. Why are they doing 2 nights? They didn't have any fans at WrestleMania in 2020 because of the pandemic. They're doing 2 nights again this year. I guarantee you, whatever the Super Bowl does, WWE is going above and beyond what the Super Bowl does. That stadium holds what? 65 to 70,000 people. There will be 35,000 people on night 1, and there will be 35,000 people on night 2. That stadium will be filled to at least 50% capacity. Then WWE is going to fill that stadium in whole in 2 nights because they can't do it in 1 night. That's going to make up for last year's WrestleMania. That's going to make up for last year's pandemic WrestleMania. Then the following year, they're going, and this is all strategic, they're going into AT&T Stadium in Dallas. I don't know how many seats that stadium holds, but I believe it's over 100,000. So WWE is going to make up whatever they can't do this year by going to Dallas. Now, granted, I don't know if they're going to fill 100,000 fucking seats. They didn't do it the last time they were there, even though they touted they did 100,000. It was more like 80. You know how WWE likes to embellish, but they're going to one of the biggest football stadiums in the entire country. And that's not because, oh yeah, we're going back to Dallas. I love Dallas. No, everything has a strategic reason to it. That's why they're going to Dallas. Then obviously in Los Angeles with SoFi Stadium, that's another 100,000 seat football stadium. WWE is not going to be able to get there this year, obviously. That's where it was supposed to be. And they figured, you know what? Let's be safe, not do it in 2022. We'll do it the following year. So they're going to wait, hoping that all this is gone by then, and then they could get in there and fill that stadium to their heart's content. And then we're off and running with things hopefully going back to normal. But I don't even think they'd be able to get in there next year at full capacity. So they want to be safe. So they moved it to WrestleMania 39. And then everybody's saying, well, what's WrestleMania 40 looking like? I'm going to say either Atlanta, Minneapolis, or the odds-on favorite is Las Vegas. Because I know there's a big football stadium there, 15 minutes away from the Vegas Strip or so. I believe it's not actually in Las Vegas. It's 15 minutes outside of the Vegas Strip. And that's where they're going for WrestleMania 40, in my honest opinion. Because that's been talked about. You know, Vince McMahon wants all these WrestleMania shows in these new state-of-the-art stadiums. He wants to be the first in there. That's exactly where he's going to end up going. So that's my personal reason as to why WWE is moving WrestleMania back. And they announced all these dates. And they announced SoFi Stadium for WrestleMania 39. Now, the one thing is, I don't know what they're going to be doing as far as main eventing these shows. I don't know what the main event of WrestleMania is going to be this year, whether it's Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns, whether it's Goldberg and Roman Reigns, whether it's John Cena coming back for something. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I really don't. But what are you going to main event WrestleMania 38 with in Arlington? And what are you going to main event WrestleMania with in Los Angeles? You're going to have a big coming out party main event if things are going to be going back to normal. How many big main events has WWE got lined up for themselves? What could possibly be the main event for WrestleMania next year? Is it going to be Dwayne? Is it going to consist of Brock Lesnar again? Are they going to save Dwayne for WrestleMania 39 in Los Angeles? Are they going to try and get John Cena back, being that he's Mr. Hollywood nowadays? So they're going to have to come up with the major main events to get people back into those venues if they're wanting to get all of those seats filled for these big shows. So that's another thing that they have to worry about as well. And I don't think WWE doesn't even know what the fuck they're doing next week. So never mind talking about WrestleMania main events for the next 3 years. But that is my personal opinion on what's happening with WWE and WrestleMania. That's why they did what they did. Now, I know a lot of people like the 2-night WrestleMania. I like the 2-night WrestleMania. It's easily digestible over 2 nights. But WWE, it doesn't look like it's going to remain a 2-night thing permanently. Seems like WrestleMania next year in Arlington at AT&T Stadium is going back to being a 6 to 8 hour marathon. And I can't stand that. I think over 2 nights, it goes perfectly. But things can change. Anything can change. So we'll see what happens with that. But at least it's a 2-night pay-per-view this year again. But I do think WWE is not doing it because it's easier for them. I do think, like I said, this is all strategy on WWE in the end. They're doing this for strategic reasons. And that's just what I think on the WrestleMania situation. Let me know what you guys think about that down below. Let's get into Monday Night Raw, man. Let me take a sip of my cold beverage. Hydrate myself before we get into this thing. Let's check the chat. See what's going on here live, man. We are at 1,700 live in the chat. Thank you guys so very much for spending your Monday night with me here on the podcast, man. Monday Night Raw opened up with Randy Orton. Randy Orton legitimately, everybody was saying, what the fuck is this on the thumbnail? This is Randy Orton on tonight's show, folks, cutting a promo in this Lucha mask. If I had my Lucha mask with me, I'd actually be wearing it on the show tonight. I do not have my Lucha mask with me. It is at my other place. And Randy Orton was a wannabe makeshift luchador with burns all over his face. He's now a burn victim, is Randy Orton. So if everybody wondering what the hell that was, it was Randy Orton in the open of Monday Night Raw tonight. Wearing this mask, he was selling the burns. And I'm not giving WWE credit here. They don't deserve my praise, man, until they get consistent with what they got to do. But I'm glad to see Randy Orton wearing a fucking mask. I was under the impression that Bruce might have forgot. I thought Randy Orton was going to come out here this week and no-sell the Fireball last week. And that Bruce would have pretended like nothing happened last week. That's the typical WWE formula on Monday night. But I'm glad to see Randy Orton selling the Fireball attack by Alexa Bliss. His nose looked all red and badly burned. Talked about people who fight fire with fire. One of my favorite Metallica songs, by the way. Fight fire with fire. And my favorite album, by the way. Ride the Lightning is my favorite Metallica album. Just throwing that out there. And he said he talked about people who fight fire with fire ending up in ashes for their affliction. He said the voices in his head have never been louder. He said he had Bliss's fate in his hands last week, yet he showed a side of himself last week he didn't know he had. Compassion. You know, believe it or not, I have compassion as well when WWE gives me a good show. If it's a week where the show sucks, I usually end up like Randy Orton on a good night. And I don't give any fucks whatsoever. So he said, look at me. This is the damnation I receive for showing you compassion. Now, when I close my eyes, all I see is that ball of fire hurling towards my face. And then they replayed it over and over and over again. That unmistakable feeling of that fire melting my face will never go away. He said he will never show compassion ever again. Then he says he wears this mask to protect himself and shield everyone from the horror that he endured. I wear a mask on my face as well when I have to watch the horror known as Monday Night Raw. When Charlotte's in the ring, when Miz and Morrison are in the ring, when Goldberg is in the ring, when catering is in the ring. I wear several masks on this show. Just saying. Said he doesn't blame Bliss, he blames the Fiend. He said Bliss was merely the vehicle, but he knows what the Fiend wants. Says he wants to stop him from achieving the inevitable. Then they showed clips of Orton winning the 2017 Royal Rumble. Says he knows everyone in the locker room took pleasure in seeing that fireball because it eliminated him from the Royal Rumble. It eliminated the greatest threat in the Royal Rumble. So everybody was reporting, and I was one of them, that Randy Orton first announced himself for the Royal Rumble. Then he got the eyeball to the face. Then there were reports coming out that Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt were headed towards another gimmick match at the Royal Rumble, and that Randy Orton's inclusion in the Royal Rumble was nothing more than a red herring, meaning that it was, done to throw you off. So I don't know if he's going to end up in the Royal Rumble or not. I have no idea. He vowed to remain in the Rumble match, so we'll see. He says he could have all of his limbs chopped off and he would still enter. In fact, I'd actually pay money to see that. I would really pay money to see Randy Orton without limbs in there. And he'd probably have a damn good chance of winning the Royal Rumble too, because he would be one of those guys that remains low, sitting in the corner somewhere, using the good old Rumble strategy. Or maybe he'll just fucking bounce out of the ring and crawl underneath the ring like Jerry Lawler, and everybody would forget that he was there. So, he said the pain fuels his every move. He pulled out a match and said, everyone can thank the Fiend when he burns their Royal Rumble aspirations to ashes and goes on to main event WrestleMania. He lit the match and then blew it out. This promo lasted about 10, 11 minutes to open the show. Very long-winded. Randy Orton is not winning the Royal Rumble, so I think we could put that to bed. I don't know who eliminates Randy Orton from the Royal Rumble. Maybe the Fiend does show back up and eliminates Randy Orton from the Royal Rumble without actually being a participant in the Royal Rumble. Because why the fuck would he be in the Royal Rumble? Maybe he pulls a Macho Man Randy Savage and eliminates himself. I don't fucking know. But Randy Orton's not winning the Royal Rumble. Maybe Edge comes back and he's got that to deal with on top of Bray Wyatt. I don't know which direction they're going. But Randy Orton is not winning the Royal Rumble. I hope that they're done with these outlandish burn victim angles, the fire. I want this to all be over. But then again, I don't know how Bray Wyatt could exist without this cheesy, campy, gimmicky shit. But Randy Orton, I don't know how long this is going to last. I hope at the Royal Rumble this is it for him and Bray Wyatt. Just get it over with. Have him move on to Edge, if that really is still the plan for him at WrestleMania. I don't know. I don't really know where they're going with this, but this was quite the adventurous promo. All over the place, really selling the injury. It wasn't bad. It was just too long-winded. It was too long. And the first 30 minutes of this show was this promo and a Charlotte Flair match with Peyton Royce. Charlie Caruso interviewed said Flair, and she asked, what's going on? Actually, I'm not Charlotte Flair, Ric Flair. Charlie Caruso interviewed Ric Flair and Lacey Evans, who were walking into the arena earlier in the day. She asked what's going on with them. Lacey called Charlie a nasty thing and asked if this was TMZ. This is beneath even you to ask. As Rick was about to talk, Lacey cut him off and she buttered Ric Flair up, and all she did was call him a legend and wanted Rick to talk about the Four Horsemen. She said Rick is known as the dirtiest player in the game, and last week he was just living up to his name. She says as far as their relationship goes, she's learning from the greatest wrestler ever, and that is it. She said now she's going to watch her partner, Peyton Royce, knock that nasty queen off of her throne. Listen, honey, Peyton Royce did not knock Charlotte off of her throne. It was me that knocked Charlotte off of her throne. And what I mean by that is, if you guys didn't watch Off the Script this past weekend, episode 360, I urge you to go and watch because I do think that was quite the rant. And I have many, many, many messages to back up that statement. So go and check that out. An absolutely epic rant on Charlotte Flair and the idiotic, foolish comments of Bully Ray on Busted Open Radio, talking about the fans and how dare they make fun and talk down to the queen as if he's getting some fucking payout or handout from WWE. Give me a break. Speaking of Charlotte, she went one-on-one with Peyton Royce. I love how everybody says Charlotte is a great wrestler, which she is. She can be. She has her moments where she's not, but everybody has their off days. Charlotte is not the greatest ever. She's not. She's not. Charlotte couldn't even bring Peyton Royce to a good match. Now, Peyton Royce is not really all that good anyway, and she really should have brought her A game if she's going to be in there with Charlotte Flair, because I think if she's the greatest ever and you have a good performance against the greatest ever, then I think it would do wonders for your career. But in this case, it was sloppy. I thought I was watching two women that were moving in quicksand. I don't know what the situation is. I don't remember Peyton Royce being that bad. Maybe it has to do with Charlotte. Maybe it has everything to do with Charlotte. Maybe Charlotte is just not as good as everybody says she is. It's almost as if she doesn't want to put anybody over in any aspect. Selling, offensively, defensively, winning or losing. I just can't understand why everybody thinks this woman is the greatest of all time. I said this on Saturday. I want you to go watch a rudimentary, formulaic, just everyday, normal Bret Hart match. And I want you guys to go and watch Bret Hart do what he does. Would Bret Hart ever have a match like this against some fucking jobber or scrub on the WWF roster? No. No, he won't. Everything that he does is perfection. The excellence of execution. It just wasn't a nice catchphrase. It was a way of life for him. Until Charlotte Flair is that good, then she's not the greatest ever. Accolades, titles, Royal Rumble victories, the fact that she is this woman that they put on a pedestal for all these fucking bullshit reasons, that doesn't make her the greatest of all time. That is absolutely a part of the reason to make somebody the greatest of all time, but it's not everything. Seems like Charlotte Flair might have the accolades, according to some, but she's missing a hell of a lot to be considered the greatest of all time. You can't bring Peyton Royce to a good match. I don't know what the fuck you're doing. Somebody fucked up here. Miscommunication came from somewhere. Maybe they just don't work good together. But this was not good. Charlotte wins via tap out. This was a figure 8 for the win. Ric Flair's music hit, and out comes Lacey Evans with Ric Flair's robe. This was in the middle of a match. And then obviously, like I said, Charlotte wins via the tap out with the figure 8. After the match, Charlotte held the figure 8 beyond the ref's 5 count. And normally, under circumstances, if you continue to apply the submission hold after the bell rung in your favor, and you are declared the winner, and the referee continues to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you still have the hold on after the bell won to declare you the winner, doesn't that constitute as a disqualification? There was no DQ here. So she held the figure 8 on, and she started yelling at Rick and Lacey, "Get your asses out here, get your asses to the ring." And that was pretty much it. This storyline sucks. I don't know where it's going. I don't think anybody cares where it's going. Is Lacey Evans going to be better off for it because she's affiliated with Ric Flair? No, she's not. And is Charlotte a heel or is Charlotte a babyface? I don't know. She came back as a babyface. She won the women's tag team titles as a babyface. Then she got in her father's face after he botched. Seemed like she was a heel. Then she goes on social media to kind of fan the flames on that situation, presents herself as a babyface again. I don't know which way they're swinging Charlotte Flair. Heel, babyface, I don't really care. Either way, heel or babyface, Charlotte Flair is pick up the remote control and change the channel cringe-worthy. It's pretty much what she is. Moving on here, man. Backstage, the Hurt Business walked up to Riddle. Riddle says he lives free. He lives his life free and untethered. Cedric Alexander added, yeah, and unkempt. Riddle then said, I'm going to take the high road here. And Shelton said, yeah, I'm sure you do. So they're cracking jokes on Riddle for him being unkempt and high. And Riddle, he was coming back with some cheesy comedy, some insults here to the Hurt Business. Lashley then said, listen, you guys go ahead, get ready for the match. 6-man tag that they had later on in the evening. He pointed out Riddle's flip-flops. He's like, I like the flip-flops, but I heard that they're bad for your feet. So Riddle says, listen, bro, they're not. And then all of a sudden, Bobby Lashley stomps on Riddle's left foot, and Riddle goes down in pain, and Riddle says, I will stick this foot right up your ass later tonight in the 6-man tag. Then all of a sudden, they cut backstage to Matt Riddle icing his foot. The Lucha House Party were there asking if he's going to be okay for their tag team match later. Riddle then says his cousin Dylan ran over his foot when they were younger with his pickup truck. This was back in high school. Didn't think he was going to make his prom, but he wrapped it up, he iced it, and he still made it to the prom. So no worries, bro. I'll be out there to take on the Hurt Business, and I'll be in your corner. Matt Riddle is the resident comedy geek on Monday Night Raw. Mustafa Ali had a promo aired with him. He was sitting in the dugout of Tropicana Field. He says he wants Kofi Kingston sitting at home with a broken jaw to sit at home and watch Retribution break the people he loves the most over and over again. He said he prays his broken jaw keeps him out of the Rumble, and he'll also miss the Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania. He said then he'll know how he felt having to sit at home watching someone else take what is his. This is one of the very few things in the entire company right now that actually makes sense. This is one of the few things. This may be one of the only things on this show that makes sense. Outside Roman Reigns in the company, this may be one of the only things besides Roman Reigns that makes fucking sense on this television program on a weekly basis. Why? Because Ali has every fucking right to want to see the New Day and specifically Kofi Kingston fucking ruined. I love it. Give me Ali and Kingston. This is exactly who Ali and Retribution should be targeting. Ali was given an opportunity until he was one of those guys that had it taken away from him for absolutely no fault of his own. Randy Orton injured him and busted an orbital socket. And that led to him being out of the chamber, his spot and opportunity going to Kofi. Kofi took it, ran with it, won the WWE title. We all know what happened then. And now Mustafa Ali is doing the same thing to Kofi Kingston. It makes sense. It might not be good because WWE they should really be giving more emphasis on how important this is, but they're not. It's just another segment on the show, and it comes off as another segment on the show. But this was a big fucking deal. This was. I wasn't sure if Ali was going to win the Chamber or go to WrestleMania, wrestle Daniel Bryan for the WWE title, but the opportunity was taken from him nonetheless. I love the fact that they are targeting Kofi, and his jaw, hurt by the Hurt Business, is now being made into a bigger deal from Ali. I love it. I want to see those two in the ring because everything about it just makes sense. And he has every right to be angry. Kofi didn't do anything. Kofi was just there, right place, right time. Ali, he can come off like a bitter prick, and he plays it well. And I can't wait to see those two in the ring. Xavier Woods made his way to the ring. He had a match with Mace. This wasn't all that good at all. And like I said in the beginning, this show was pretty much a rehash of legitimately everything from last week's show. Charlotte wrestled Peyton Royce. Last week, she wrestled Lacey Evans. Same shit. No difference there. Xavier Woods wrestled Teabag last week. This week, he's wrestling Mace. Same show. Just slightly altered. Xavier Woods loses to Mace in 4 minutes. Not a good match at all. Xavier's great. But Mace looked like he was never comfortable in that ring. And I know for a fact that Vince McMahon probably chewed his ass out after the ending of this match. He tried his new finishing move, something new that we haven't seen from Dio Madden as of yet. He tried what looked to be a modified F5 in reverse or some form of sidewalk slam, and he absolutely botched it beyond belief. He still made the pin 1, 2, 3. Mace wins here in 4 minutes, and Reckoning was not. She was not out there with Retribution, which I don't know if that could be taken as, hey, they're going to remove her from the group, or she's part of that group that was one of the ones that tested positive for COVID. I don't know, but she wasn't out there. Of all the weeks, she's not out there. Everybody made a big deal about it on social media. Where's Mia Yim? Where's Reckoning? But Mace wins in 4 minutes. Xavier Woods is the only remaining member of the New Day right now that exists on Monday Night Raw, and he's paying the ultimate price without Kofi Kingston being there. Again, I can't wait to see Kofi and Ali in the ring together. We went to hour 2, and we got Alexa's Playground. Alexa Bliss entered the ring, and she sat on her swing set next to her kid's slide. She said last week she wanted to talk to Orton and clear the air, but then things got heated. She laughed at her own pun. I always appreciate a good pun. She said she has some good suggestions for sunblock for Randy Orton. She said she's glad he's in good spirits and feeling okay. She said tonight she has a special guest, and she's so excited to have Asuka in her playground. And Asuka comes out. She's being very Asuka-like, dancing and smiling. She was about to sit on the other swing next to Alexa Bliss, and Bliss told her, no, it's not your seat. Bliss then asked, are you okay? Asuka says, yes, I'm okay. Bliss then said, I'm sorry, I wasn't talking to you. Then they began giggling back and forth. Bliss said they have a match later tonight, but first she wants to have some fun. She has some breaking news. She then looked over at the invisible swing and said that she will be declaring herself entry into the Royal Rumble match. I'll cycle back to this a little bit later. So Bliss then said, well, I'm going to be in the Royal Rumble. I could win the Royal Rumble, and I could face you, Asuka, for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. Asuka said she would be honored because she's a big fan of Alexa Bliss. Bliss said, that's so sweet. And then Asuka said, yowie wowie. And then Alexa Bliss got angry and then looked over at the other swing that was empty and apologized to seemingly nobody. She wasn't supposed to say that. She looked over and said. Then Asuka's music began playing and she began dancing. Bliss yelled at Asuka to stop. The music then stopped. She looked over at the swing again and started to cry. Alexa Bliss started to cry. She said if she had done things the right way, you would still be here and things would be great. But now it's just so cold. Asuka tried to cheer Bliss up. Asuka said, the Fiend is still here. Then Alexa looked up and glared a hole right into Asuka and said, don't you ever say his name. And she looked at the camera, smiled, and waved. Asuka was shaken up, left the ring, and then all of a sudden the little horsey that was in the playground set here began swinging back and forth. Bliss got up. She went to go check on the horsey, sat on the horse, smiled into the camera, and the segment ended. Not really a big fan of this segment, particularly with Asuka, but it set up whatever was going to happen in the main event, which, looking back in retrospect at it, wasn't all that bad. So it was a nice precursor to what we got in the main event later tonight with Asuka and Alexa Bliss. Guys, we're going to talk about the next couple of things. Goldberg on Miz TV. Goldberg on Miz TV. We got Shayna Basler versus Mandy Rose coming up. And we got Ricochet versus AJ Styles, which I will be talking about in a little bit. But I am going to step away for a second. I want to show you guys something really special that my buddy and I are working on. My good old friend Jason Big Hodge. We're working on this thing called the CNC. And if you guys haven't checked it out on my Twitter, I'm going to give you a first-hand look at what we are doing right now with the CNC. So don't go anywhere, guys. Give me a minute, and I'll be right back with the review.
All right, we're talking about Omega and Okada, 40,000 in the Tokyo Dome. What are you saying, bro?
Are you kidding me? You're telling me that that is the greatest wrestling match of all time? Better than The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25? The greatest WrestleMania match of all time? Probably the greatest match ever.
Dude, 7 stars? Come on, bro. It gave you every element of storytelling, bro. Athleticism.
Wait, whoa. 7 stars. You're rating this off of Meltzer's star rating? All the false finishes at, what, 57 minutes in? Kicking out of finishes left and right?
You might wanna,
Yeah, speaking of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, it caught me off, yeah.
I know.
Let's do it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Some awesome stuff there, man. Jason and I, my boy Big Hodge, working on the CNC. Coming soon. You guys are going to understand what it is in just a little bit, man. Moving on. We got, after Asuka and Alexa Bliss, Miz and Morrison backstage. We got Miz and Morrison backstage. They were interviewed by Sarah Schreiber and asked what they'd be asking Goldberg on Miz TV. Miz said, no spoilers. He said, she'll have to tune in like everybody else. He said, what they have in store for him will be controversial indeed. And then Morrison added, controversy creates cash. Miz said, like money in the bank. Ha 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 ha. Nothing about the Miz or Morrison is controversial at all, and never will be. Backstage, Shayna Basler with Nia Jax said she's going to eliminate everyone in the Royal Rumble, even if it has to be her tag team partner. Nia Jax took exception to this and asked if she really wants everything to be every woman for herself. She added, my back hurts from carrying this team. Are you kidding me? How many others' backs are hurting, Nia, from you being negligent in the ring? I'd love to know. Good old Jeff Jarrett, Jeff, Jarrett, Jeff Jarrett. He quoted Toby Keith. I don't know why Jeff Jarrett was on this show. Don't know. He quoted Toby Keith, the country music star, and said, I ain't as good as I once was, but I'm good once as I ever was. He said that will be the story at the Royal Rumble. Now, I got a little bit of a heart attack here as I thought he was actually going to declare himself to be in the Royal Rumble. Thank Christ he didn't. We're going to see a spear, a jackhammer, and a 1-2-3, he said, and we will have a new WWE champion. He says Goldberg is going to beat Drew McIntyre. First of all, I don't know why we're pushing Goldberg being a WWE champion in 2021. I don't know what these teases are for. Nobody wants to see that. Okay? Number 2, we're in 2021. Don't you think you could get this guy a better fucking camera or some better audio quality? Seriously. Everybody should have a up-to-date smartphone, man. I mean, even a fucking iPhone 10, 9 is better than this shit. It sounded like, and it looked like he was filming on an iPhone 3. This is WWE, man, a multi-billion-dollar company, and you can't get double J, some decent audio fucking quality? And no, Goldberg is not going to win the WWE title. Crossing my fingers. Knowing these fucking people. Shayna Basler. Love me some Shayna Basler against Mandy Rose. She was walked to the ring by catering. She didn't care for tonight's festivities in catering, bro. Apparently, she's not a fan of asparagus. Titus had grilled asparagus tonight. She loves the mashed potatoes. But she's not a fan of asparagus. Now, I don't know what Titus had for dessert, man. I think it was something seasonal. I don't know what fruits are in season right now. But it was something seasonal. Apparently, it was a new recipe. And she didn't really care for it, man. But the main course, lasagna. She loved that. Love that. I don't know why you're mixing lasagna and asparagus, but she don't like asparagus. I don't know. Maybe asparagus was the appetizer. I don't know. Who the fuck knows with Titus, man? You never know with him. He's always full of surprises. Shayna Basler. Mandy Rose. Out with catering. Baszler wins in 4 minutes. Mandy got some offense in, but Baszler eventually won with an armbar after twisting and slamming her arm into the mats. Jax stood and was yapping her ear off at ringside after the match. Rose leapt off the apron and drop-kicked Jax into Baszler and the ring post. So there seems to be some issues between Nia Jax and Shayna Basler. As there should be, because it's every woman for herself, Nia. That is the name of the game in the Royal Rumble. I know this is not your first merry-go-round. Backstage. Caruso then approached Jax and Baszler as they continued to argue. Jax said, not that it matters, but we've never gotten along. She said Charlotte, with her daddy issues and Asuka being frightened by Bliss, they're not getting along either. Baszler said this is a good time to go after the tag belts. Jax says it's a good idea, and then they went off and went to go discuss plans. I don't really give a shit who has the tag team titles because they are fucking worthless. Absolutely worthless. Sarah Schreiber then interviewed said Charlotte and asked how uncomfortable it was to watch Lacey in her father's robe. Charlotte says she's always accused of living off of her father's name. Accused? Rightfully so, by the way. You're not being accused. It's true. Now, Lacey is using her dad to get to Charlotte. Charlotte says she can only take so much trash. I know. I can only take so much trash. It's Monday night. You know what that means. She said Lacey can wear her dad's robe, but she'll never take her crown. Oh, I'm sorry, Charlotte. That crown belongs to several others in the company that have surpassed you as being queen. You're maybe 5th or 6th on the list. So I don't know what crown you're talking about, what throne you're talking about. You ain't the top, honey. You ain't the top. Nowhere near it. Adam Pearce. I love triggering the internet. I love it. I live for it. How many of you are angry that I can't stand Charlotte and that everything I say about Charlotte is 100% factual information? Ricochet. Adam Pearce told Ricochet, get this, Adam Pearce told Ricochet that a win against AJ Styles tonight can go a long way toward getting him an opportunity in the Royal Rumble. So let me get this right, folks. Jeff Hardy was on social media earlier in the day. He declared himself in the Royal Rumble. He did nothing. He did nothing to qualify for the Royal Rumble. We got Alexa Bliss swinging on a child's swing set in the ring, declaring herself in the Royal Rumble. What exactly did she do to get into the Royal Rumble? Yet Ricochet, poor old Rick O'Shea, has to beat AJ Styles to get into the Royal Rumble. So, if you guys have been following the TV shows up until this point, it's been Ricochet and Drew Gulak, the only two guys that have had to qualify for the Royal Rumble. WWE is letting you know in plain sight who they fucking hate. They're letting you know in plain sight the guys on the roster that are buried. There you go. Even R-Truth will probably be in the Royal Rumble, and he's a bigger loser than all of them. Unreal. Adam Pearce says he's opening the window, but he still has to go through it. Pretty sure Ricochet would welcome going through the fucking window because that would probably be better than what they got him doing on this show. Just so that he escapes this fucking shit. Styles and Omos walked up to them. Styles gave Pearce a hard time for relinquishing his title shot at the Royal Rumble to Kevin Owens against Roman Reigns. He said he would have lost anyway, but at least he'd have some dignity. Styles then said Ricochet will lose tonight, but he will still have his dignity. Ricochet said Styles apparently has magically forgotten about TLC. Styles then yelled that was all the Miz's fault. Ricochet said he'll need more than a 7-foot giant to stop him from taking a step toward earning a spot in the Royal Rumble. Somewhere along the line, Ricochet was called a loser by AJ Styles. Somewhere in this promo, they were talking about a 17-year-old movie, 50 First Dates, I believe they were talking about. I don't know why. I don't know why a 17-year-old movie in 50 First Dates was referenced in this promo to get us a Ricochet and AJ Styles match. Now we know what Bruce Pritchard was watching on his Sunday afternoon while he was lounging in his underwear. I love you. We know what he was doing on Sunday afternoon. He was watching 50 First Dates. It's amazing, folks. It's 2021. And we got AJ Styles and Ricochet on Monday Night Raw. And I don't think there's anybody watching this show or anybody in this chat that legitimately gives a shit about this match. Imagine those words coming out of your mouth. AJ Styles and Ricochet in a ring together on Monday Night Raw, and you don't give a fuck about what they are doing in that ring. It means nothing. Nothing. So AJ Styles calls Ricochet a loser. Ricochet has to qualify for the Royal Rumble while everybody else on the fucking roster is declaring themselves in the Royal Rumble. What makes Ricochet not worthy to be in the Royal Rumble? He was in the fucking Royal Rumble last year and even aided in Brock Lesnar's elimination. But all of a sudden, come 2021, he's not good enough to be in the Royal Rumble? I wonder why. I wonder why. I guarantee you this guy goes home to Casey every night and cries himself to sleep. Honey, I love you. I'm making some good money, but my career is ruined. Talking to himself, sleepless nights. I know. I'd be doing that same thing. So AJ Styles and Ricochet, very good match. Probably the best match of the night. Styles knocked Ricochet off the top rope. Ricochet snapped Styles' throat over the top rope. Went for a springboard. Styles caught him midair. And in what was probably the greatest Styles clash I have ever seen, ever, bounced Ricochet off the top rope in a suplex. Just imagine. Ricochet was going to springboard. Styles knocked him off. He caught him in a vertical suplex. Literally threw him from a vertical suplex position on the top rope. Ricochet bounced off into perfectly a Styles Clash position, right into a Styles Clash. 1, 2, 3, and AJ Styles pins Ricochet, and Ricochet is not in the Royal Rumble. So what we got here, folks, is the greatest Styles Clash ever done by AJ Styles. A reference to 50 First Dates. AJ Styles calling Ricochet a loser and then backing that up by winning. How do you spell Ricochet? Loser. Loser. Ricochet is as worse, and I don't believe I'm going to say this. Ricochet may be even further down the totem pole than my good old buddy Humberto. Korea. How sad. How sad, man. Ricochet now has the L real estate in the alphabet, man. Humberto, it's been nice knowing you, bro. I'm sending you on a fucking paid vacation, man. You did the letter well. You really did. Now you can go enjoy yourself with a nice margarita, sit on the fucking beach under the sun, get yourself a nice tan, maybe grow some facial hair because you look like a fucking baby face. Legitimately. Now Ricochet can move on in, man. And I hope you are charging him prime rent for that real estate. Sad. Everybody's like, why are you hating on Ricochet? I'm not hating on Ricochet. I love Ricochet. I hate the fucking way the guy's being booked. Fucking ridiculous. This is what you do with a guy like this. Unreal. And people want to claim, oh, he's not buried. He lost one match. One match? Was this the first Monday Night Raw that you watched? One match. The guy's been losing every fucking week. The guy's been a fucking loser ever since they called him up. One match. Guy lost to Brock Lesnar in 90 seconds by not even throwing a fucking punch. One match. You fucking kidding me? Guy was feuding with the Hurt Business for about 9 months. Then he gets thrown into a fucking feud with Retribution and he can't even beat them. One match. Fuck out of here, man. The guy is a loser. And I hate saying that. Triple H better call up somebody, get him back down there. Can you imagine if Triple H calls up Vince and says, to give me Ricochet, give me Andrade, give me Alistair, we'll do something with them down here, you're not using them up there. Can you imagine how great NXT would be? It would be a lot better than what we got now. If you're going to call up people from NXT, then move those guys back down there and let Triple H do something with them to get them back on track. But that won't happen. Why won't that happen, you say? Because if that happens, then Vince is going to admit failure. And Vince is not going to admit failure. They would rather waste their fucking investment and waste their money and have these guys sit around so their value means nothing. So when their contracts run out, they have absolutely no name value whatsoever. That's what they're hoping for. If they go back down to NXT and Triple H makes them into overnight successes again, what is that going to tell Vince McMahon? That Triple H, and we all know that he does anyway, does his job better than Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard. Sucks to be Ricochet, man. 3 more years on that deal. 3 more years. I don't know how this guy didn't get the fucking point after the first year. Moving on. Miz and Morrison. Dirt sheet. Miz says this is the biggest dirt sheet ever. Morrison says he was a hero for many growing up. The guest today. He was a hero for many growing up. Wasn't my fucking hero. Miz says he can be a hero to new fans if he wins the WWE title at the Royal Rumble. Miz then introduced Goldberg. And out comes Gillberg. So I can't really say, fuck Bill Goldberg, even though I just did. But we'll say that for next week because he's already announced for next week's show. But Gillberg comes out, and he is playing the role of Goldberg on this comedy segment on the Dirt Sheet. Now, I'm not going to shit on Gillberg. There's no reason for me to shit on Gillberg. I'm just glad that Gillberg is in good spirits, man. Gillberg actually suffered a heart attack 6 weeks ago. He's back on the show. He's back on Monday Night Raw, picking up the phone because Vince needs him for this segment, and he's in Orlando doing what he's got to do. So, good on Gillberg, man. Awesome stuff there. So, he did the usual entrance. He came out with the sparklers, and people hosed him down with the fire extinguishers. So, the man has made a career of poorly impersonating Goldberg, says Tom Phillips. Actually, he's better than Bill Goldberg. Gillberg probably could last longer in a match than the actual Goldberg. It's unreal. Unreal. I would actually rather see Gillberg versus Drew McIntyre at the Royal Rumble. I kid you not. So we got Miz saying, oh my God, it looks like you've been training. Miz then asked Gillberg for his game plan. Talked about banging his head on doors, blowing smoke out his nose, and shooting fire out of his ass. We got enough fire on this show, Gillberg, please. Then he knocked over a chair. Then all of a sudden, Drew McIntyre's music played, and Miz and Morrison were introducing a Drew McIntyre impersonator. Now, this guy was actually a Hollywood actor. I forgot the guy's name. Apparently, he was on a CBS show called Numbers, and he starred in some other movies in the 1990s. I forgot the guy's name. Doesn't really matter. But he came out. He was wearing a wig. He had a goatee. He had a little sword. And he had a kilt that kept falling off his waist. Falling off his waist so much that I was surprised that he kept this thing around his waist. We seen part of his ass crack. And he had this terrible Irish accent, but it was rather entertaining. Rather entertaining. So, Drew here asked if they wanted to cut and try again because his wig kept falling off and the accent was terrible. Miz says, listen, we're live. This is a train wreck. And then he blamed John Morrison for hiring an actor from New Jersey. Gillberg then stepped in between them and made some stupid Goldberg facial expressions. Miz and Morrison asked Goldberg, just go over there, please. Are you going to lose at the Royal Rumble? And then Morrison said, of course he's going to lose. Miz asks if Drew is going to lose. Morrison says, yes. Miz says, yes, of course. But how can there be two losers in one match? Morrison says it's because Miz will cash in the Money in the Bank contract, and then they did their correct. Was this segment trash? Correct. Miz says he's a future WWE champion because I'm the Miz and I'm next. Listen, if you're gonna put a bullet to my head and you're gonna ask me, JD, who would you rather see the WWE champion? The Miz or Goldberg? I'm taking the Miz 10 times out of fucking 10, bro. Seriously. I would take the Miz in a heartbeat. Does the Miz win the WWE title? No. We'll be right back in the same boat that we were in December when he failed to cash in. More than likely, he's going to fail in again, and then WWE will just be recircling back to zero plans that they had from the beginning about the Money in the Bank contract. The Hurt Business, Cedric Alexander, Shelton Benjamin, and Bobby Lashley with MVP versus the Lucha House Party. Got some news on MVP. MVP was lobbying on Twitter for a match at WrestleMania for Bobby Lashley against Brock Lesnar. Now, Lesnar more than likely will be making his return. We don't know when, but I'm assuming he will be at WrestleMania. You never know what they have planned for him or where he's going to fit into plans. The WWE on Fox Twitter account asked for fans to name the match they would book to headline WrestleMania 37. MVP has a match in mind, and he was not shy about admitting what that was. He said the CHO, the Chief Hurt Officer of the Hurt Business, Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman. That's what he wants to main event WrestleMania. Now, do I think Bobby Lashley deserves Brock Lesnar? Yes, I do. I would love to see that match. I think that's one of the few matches that WWE has not given us with Brock Lesnar, and they'd be foolish not to give that a shot. No matter if it's at WrestleMania or SummerSlam, I don't give a fuck where it happens. Just book the match. Bobby Lashley's been the most protected on Monday Night Raw outside of the WWE Champion. There is absolutely no reason why this match should not happen. You don't do all of that work and then not book this match. And I don't know what Brock Lesnar's mindset is, but I would be a betting man to say that Brock Lesnar does not want to come back and main event WrestleMania or win the WWE title or be the WWE champion again. How many times can you do the same thing over and over and over again and expect different results? It's not going to happen. They've used Brock Lesnar in the same way. You don't think that man knows that? Yeah, he's getting his money. He makes $13 million a year under Vince McMahon. But you don't think that man knows that? The fuck is he coming back for? It's got to be boring. He don't want to come back for some bullshit. He wants to come back and have it mean something. Does this match happen at WrestleMania? No, I don't book this match at WrestleMania. I save it for SummerSlam. You're going to need something for SummerSlam. If you're going to have fans at WrestleMania, I would save it for SummerSlam. Why not? The biggest party of the summer? I could see them doing a big match between those two there. Like I said, Roman versus Big E, Sasha versus Bianca, Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. Look at the top 3 matches for that card. That sells itself. And then at WrestleMania, what do you do with Bobby Lashley? I have no fucking idea. They're blowing through the Matt Riddle thing already. That could have been something. But what I'm doing with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania is one of two things. You could do one of two things. You could do Bobby Lashley versus Keith Lee for the United States title, and Brock Lesnar. I don't know if you guys watched the Talking Smack segment this past week with Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens was back on Talking Smack with Paul Heyman. Kevin Owens specifically said that it was because of Paul Heyman he never got his desired match against Brock Lesnar. If Kevin Owens is not going to win the WWE Universal title, and he's going to fall to Roman, which everybody knows he is and should, if Kevin Owens is going to fall to Roman Reigns again at the Royal Rumble, what does that mean for KO? You got to keep him looking strong, because everything that Roman touches turns to gold. And Kevin Owens is now a part of this very elusive and elite group. You can't just waste him. If Kevin Owens is going to lose to Roman, I want to see him continue going this way instead of WWE just putting him back down at the bottom of the fucking card. Or worse yet, not even feature him on the show. Why don't we do Kevin Owens versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania? That way Lesnar could come back and put over KO. Imagine Kevin Owens getting a victory over Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar in WrestleMania, and Bobby Lashley can drop the title to Keith Lee. That's what I would do. That makes the most sense to me. Outside of that, if you want to do Bobby Lashley versus Keith Lee at WrestleMania, not really all that exciting to me, but it would be a step in the right direction for Keith Lee. Now, if you don't want to do either of those matches, I originally had booked Keith Lee versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania with Keith Lee going over Brock Lesnar and Brock putting over the new guy. But what do you do with Bobby Lashley and the United States title at WrestleMania? You ran through Riddle. You're about to run through Riddle. Maybe you do Sheamus? Sheamus versus Bobby Lashley? AJ Styles versus Bobby Lashley? Ricochet versus Bobby? I don't know. What do you do with Bobby Lashley and the United States title? Not much. If WWE wants to maximize WrestleMania, you do Bobby Lashley and Keith Lee for the United States title and Brock Lesnar versus Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. Just think about that. But I would not book this match, Lesnar and Lashley, at WrestleMania. I'd save that for SummerSlam. Guys, before we get into this Hurt Business versus Matt Riddle and Lucha House Party match, here's part 2 of the CNC.
I mean, since we're going to bounce off of that fact of talking about greatest matches, as I said fact, because, you know, that's debatable with those two. We're going to talk about it as concrete, but this thing here, if we're going to talk about the greatest...
You're going to talk Louis the 13th?
Yeah, and if we're going to talk about that in hindsight, I need to know a little bit more, and I know that you've been doing your research.
Well, a bottle like this ranges about $3,000. It could go anywhere between $145,000 up to $25,000. From what I know, the most expensive bottle is $169,000.
That's pretty steep. With that being said, you would say that this is probably the greatest tasting liqueur. Would you say so?
I would say so. This is the Shawn Michaels and Undertaker of liqueurs.
Here we go again.
Told you.
We're gonna go
I'm not
again.
going to let you live it down.
We'll talk about it some more after these shots.
Of course. Let's do it.
Salud, my friend.
Let's do it.
Oh, shit.
Absolutely amazing.
You want some more?
Of course I want more.
You think they want some more?
Of course they want more.
You know they're gonna have to tune into the full episodes.
they are.
Then we're gonna go.
And they will.
You gotta get the full episode. You're not gonna get the whole thing here.
Coming soon.
CNC.
Yeah, man. It's coming soon. February, the debut of the CNC. Hurt Business versus the Lucha House Party of Matt Riddle. This went 12 minutes. We got the Hurt Business winning when Bobby Lashley made Gran Metalik tap out. But the story of this match was Cedric was being very feisty in this thing. He was being very feisty, arguing with Bobby Lashley, arguing with MVP, arguing with Shelton Benjamin. Cedric got an advantage on Metalik. He bragged about it to Shelton. It was almost as if they were trying to one-up each other and win the match and try to kind of outdo each other. Now, I don't know where this is leading to, but it's very entertaining to see them have this kind of competitive spirit amongst each other. I don't know if Cedric has this storyline going on right now where he's getting, his head to be a little bit too big. He's overly confident and he thinks who he is and he's overstepping his boundaries. His ego is getting a little bit too big for the Hurt Business. I don't know. I hope that's not the case because if he is removed from the Hurt Business, I don't think it's going to bode well for his career and his direction on the show. So I hope that's not the case. But we'll see what happens. But Cedric and Shelton argued. Bobby Lashley said, fuck this shit. Won the match with the Hurt Lock on Metalik, and that was it. That was pretty much it. Matt Riddle, after the match, got in a cheap shot on Bobby Lashley and ran away, so it looks like we are not done with Riddle and Lashley yet, as I'm assuming that's going to be the United States title match at the Royal Rumble. Elias and Jackson Riker. Another match here with Jeff Hardy. I don't know why. Like I said, man, this show was booked exactly like last week. Literally nothing changed. Literally nothing changed from last week. Elias told Riker not to disobey him. Riker said he took him literally when he told him not to get involved last week. He said they got their signals crossed. Elias says this isn't Thomas the Train. He told Riker tonight that his mission is to finish what he started last week and embody the universal truth and everything Elias stands for, to the point that Hardy accepts the universal truth that is Elias. He asked Elias if he's sure that he's not actually going to help him. Elias was irked, grabbed his guitar. Just get to the ring, he said. Go and do what I told you to do. Go beat Jeff Hardy. McIntyre cut another promo from his gym at his home. He's still asymptomatic after testing positive for COVID-19 last week. He says he will be back on Raw next week. He wants the best Goldberg. He wants the best Goldberg. I don't think that Goldberg exists. At all. That's what this title deserves. And if you don't, I will eat you alive in 2 minutes. Now, Goldberg's cardio will eat him alive in 2 minutes. And the title deserves a match that does not include Bill Goldberg. I just fixed your promo, Mr. McIntyre. Stop trying to hype this guy up to be more than he is. He is fucking trash. Fuck Bill Goldberg. Now you got me started. I didn't want to mention it until next week. I said it right here. Fuck Bill Goldberg. Get him off my TV. Jeff Hardy versus Jackson Riker. 3 minutes. Hardy wins via DQ. Hardy landed a neck breaker, then climbed to the top rope for a swanton. Elias then shoved him off the top rope. And that obviously caused the DQ. After the match, Riker says he thought Elias wasn't going to help him. Elias held up finger quote marks. Wasn't going to help you. Hardy went after Elias with a basement dropkick or a wrecking ball dropkick through the ropes. Riker then spiked Hardy down to the mat with a vicious sidewalk slam. I don't know why these guys are feuding. These guys have been feuding legitimately since last summer. Ever since that car accident incident, that drunken incident on SmackDown, we've been seeing this feud. And then Elias was out for a legitimate injury. He comes back to Monday Night Raw, and what do you think they do? They feud him with Jeff Hardy. And they're still feuding. Over what? Over what? A guitar that was in the wrong fucking tuning. What are they feuding over? A gift card to Red Lobster. What the fuck are they feuding over? Unreal. I still don't understand why Jackson Riker is on TV and Blake and Cutler don't have TV time. They haven't had one fucking match on SmackDown. Alexa Bliss versus Asuka. This was the main event of the show. So we were getting a decent match back and forth here with Asuka and Bliss. She rolled up Asuka, did Bliss for a 2 count. Asuka popped up, punched Bliss in the face, kneed her in the forehead, gave her a shining wizard. Then all of a sudden we get the Fiend noises in the Thunderdome. All the lights go out. We go pitch black. Commercial break. Back from break. Alexa Bliss has transformed. She was playful, blonde, with a little pink in her hair. She was wearing pink and a nice little colorful outfit when the match started. After commercial break, she was wearing all black and had black lipstick on, and she was transformed. The commentary team whispering like they didn't know what was going on. They were shocked at what happened. Oh my God. Alexa Bliss has transformed. I don't know what is going on. Joe, what is going on? Saxton, what is going on? Phillips, do you have any information on this breaking news happening right before us here on Raw? I don't believe what I'm seeing. Oh my God. Alexa Bliss has transformed. Pretty much what they were doing. They sold it terribly. Absolutely terribly. This hushed tone, Sounded very cringe. Asuka looked scared and unsettled is a good word. She threw some strikes, but Bliss ducked and blocked them all. Asuka eventually landed a kick to the midsection. Bliss then shook it off and knocked Asuka to ringside. They circled each other in the middle of the ring. Asuka landed a big knee lift, but Bliss bent over backwards in the corner and did the Bray Wyatt hang or the backwards crawl in the corner. The announcers were then again shocked at what Bliss was doing. Alexa Bliss has magical powers. I don't believe what I'm seeing here. Byron, do you have any additional information on this? Breaking news. It's fucking ridiculous. So, she was in the corner. Asuka was shocked. She stopped. She backed away. Bliss then got up and started motioning that she was going to do the mandible claw. To Asuka. She tried for the mandible claw. Asuka blocked it, but Bliss blocked the suplex attempt and then knocked Asuka to the mat for a 2 count with a right hand. And Asuka then all of a sudden came back with 3 big strikes to Bliss. But Bliss no-sold him, just like the Fiend no-sells everything. And then all of a sudden delivered Sister Abigail for the 1, 2, 3. Joe said, and I quote, "What the hell just happened? What are we looking at, Saxton? I don't believe what we're seeing." And then Alexa Bliss stared at the camera. Suddenly, all of a sudden, we get a different transformation, and she goes back to normal. And then she looked into the camera, very evil-like, and Monday Night Raw went off the air. And that was pretty much it. Now, like I said before, Alexa Bliss was the star of the show tonight outside of the Ricochet AJ Styles match, but this was obviously a little bit more important. Alexa Bliss is in one of the biggest storylines of the year for WWE right now. I don't know what this means for Bray Wyatt coming back. Like I said, I hope that it makes his return bigger. I hope he comes back different. I hope he comes back refreshed. I don't know if it's going to be a complete reset of the character. We're going to see a different Fiend, a more evil Fiend. I don't know. I hope to God we do, because the Fiend that we seen before he was burned was dead anyway. So you might as well just start all over again. I hope that what she is doing is going to make his return even bigger. But like I said, even though she's doing the best work of her career, the more Bray Wyatt is out and the more Alexa Bliss is getting bigger and bigger and bigger being in this role, she's going to be the star of the act, and Bliss is not. And Wyatt is not. Bliss is going to be the star of the act, and Wyatt is not going to be. So it's going to be a very interesting situation when Bray Wyatt comes back. But Alexa Bliss is doing the best work of her career. I got to give her props. Everything from her, even her in-ring work, her facial expressions, her body language, the way she manipulates her opponent from happy-go-lucky to evil, the looks that she gives, the timing of everything. It's almost as if she was born for this role. So I'm glad to see that she's finally doing something that we can all genuinely enjoy, because whatever they were doing with Alexa Bliss, it was not right, man. They were shoving her down our throats, and they made it very apparent that she was the biggest thing in the women's division, management's favorite blonde. But now, legitimately, we can look at her body of work and say that is the best body of work that Alexa Bliss has done so far in her WWE run. So much so that she's actually outshining Bray, who's supposed to be the star, and Alexa's the co-star. It's the other way around. So it's nice to see that she is owning this gimmick and owning this character. And like I said, a lot of people were saying Alexa Bliss maybe win the Royal Rumble. No, she's not going to win the Royal Rumble. I'm not going to pick Alexa Bliss to win the fucking Royal Rumble over a Bayley, over a possible Rhea Ripley, or over a Bianca. No, not going to happen. I know she's in the Royal Rumble, but if she wins the Royal Rumble, that itself will kill the fucking character. She should not win the Royal Rumble. I think there are others that deserve it more. She's seen her time in the sun. This character, this act does not need world titles. So I want to just cut that off immediately. Alexa Bliss should not win the Royal Rumble. But she's doing the best work of her career. And Asuka losing here clean, I have no problem with, because Asuka was losing steam anyway as champion. She was lost legitimately on Monday Night Raw. So having Bliss pin her clean does not bother me at all. It would have bothered me 6 months ago, but I don't think it's going to bother me moving forward. Guys, that is your Monday Night Raw review. If you guys enjoyed that, let me know. Leave me a comment down below. And we got some Super Chats. Super Chats are open. So let's get them on in, man. Super Chats are open. Let's talk Monday Night Raw. Let's talk WWE. If you guys came for the review, I will see you back live on Wednesday for Dynamite, as we're celebrating -1's birthday on Dynamite. And I'll be here with Jesse. So if you guys are here for the review and don't care for the Super Chats, I'll see you on Wednesday. If you guys want to hang out, I'd love to have you. Stick around. Follow me on Twitter at JD from NY206, Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Hit that thumbs up. We are 8 away from 750 in the live stream, guys. So if you guys have not hit the thumbs up, make sure you guys go and do that. I would really, really appreciate it. Shout out to my sponsor today, Dr. Squatch. DrSquatch.com. Use code SCRIPTS at checkout to save 20% off soaps and colognes and toothpaste and deodorant, shampoos, you name it, man. You're already listening to the best here on Off the Script. I want you to look your best, feel your best, and smell your best using Dr. Squatch. DrSquatch.com. Use code SCRIPT. I love that cold brew cleanse, man. Trust me. Trust me. It's worth it. Go get yourself some Dr. Squatch. And if you missed any of the videos that I've uploaded this past weekend and last week, go and check everything out down below. All your playlists are linked down below. Let's get into the Super Chats, guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. Super Chats are open. Get them on in. Planet Stasiak, $4.99. Do you think WWE will have fans after Mania? Yes. Also, do you remember when Sheamus was babyface world champion since you've been watching for 30 years? Yes, and I didn't enjoy it. By the way, no Sheamus and no Keith Lee tonight on the show. Don't know why, but I'm guessing creative didn't have anything for them. Philip Langley with a $4.99. I love your podcast, JD. I have a question. When did WWE sign Mr. Wrestling number 2? Laughing my fucking ass off. This show is horrible. I don't know, man. Listen, as long as Randy Orton was wearing a fucking mask to sell the burns. Knowing this show, he would have came out there and 7 days would have been enough to fucking get rid of first-degree burns, is what he said. DX Tricksters with a $10 UK. WWE decides to bring in a 61-year-old Gilbert who just had a heart attack a few months ago when they just had a COVID outbreak. What the fuck are they thinking? This show sucks. Fuck Vince, Bruce, Kevin, and Oldberg. Listen, man, I'm sure he was COVID tested. I'm sure he was good to go, but I don't even think WWE realized he had a heart attack. Why the fuck would they care about Gilbert? Well, good on him, man. I'm glad to see he's in good spirits. Anybody else at that age, under those circumstances, might not be able to make the show. He's back out there. Kenley Pierre with a $5 super chat. Alexa in this character now sucks. Her best work was 2016 SmackDown. And 2017, after that regressed, she needs to improve in the ring, honestly. Kenley, this is Alexa's best work. If you don't understand that, I need you to get better. The acting, the facial expressions, the mannerisms, the dive she's taking to go into this character. Bro, she was not doing anything like that before. Some dude on the internet with a $2.99 super chat, Nia Jax and Ryback type beat, feed me more. I see what you did there. I won't repeat it, otherwise some fucking idiot on the internet's gonna take it out of context. So, thank you, some dude on the internet, for the $2.99. What did I do to my arm? Moving shit in the fucking basement. I got a big bruise on my arm. Doesn't hurt, though. G.I. Jet 1 with a $5 super chat. They let another champion lose on television in the dumbest way. What was that with Asuka and Bliss? Not a big deal, G.I. Jet. Asuka was a loser coming into this match anyway. She was lost on TV anyway, so what's the fucking difference? There's nobody for her in the division. What's the difference? No, Jesse didn't kick my ass, clown. You better watch your fucking mouth. I'm gonna get Thunder Rosa to kick your fucking ass when we're back in Chicago, clown. Okay? You and me will be sitting at the bar, you'll be wearing a fucking neck brace. So let me get Britt Baker to do some emergency surgery on you that you don't need, okay? I was moving a filing cabinet. Maurice Jackson with a $4.99. I love Jesse. Jesse knows I'm joking. Clowns. Maurice Jackson with a $4.99 super chat. As a fan of Charlotte, I can say your recent rant on OTS 249. Oh, you must have listened to the Spotify version. The Spotify version is not... I should actually just label it what it really is on YouTube, but it is what it is. It's episode 360 on YouTube. Was on point. As far as greatest pure athlete, I say Bianca and Naomi are better. Bianca is much more superior athlete than Charlotte Flair. That's just my honest and humble opinion. Thank you, Maurice. I appreciate you. Papo Jr. with a $5 super chat. WWE found out I didn't watch Raw last week, so they made rematches tonight. Sorry, guys. That's on me. Here's coffee. On me, JD. This show was painful to watch. It was awful, Papo. Monday Night Raw is a tedious fucking nightmare. It's a chore every Monday. Lauren Hutton with a $2 super chat. Hey, JD, your reviews are better than Raw. I know. Jonathan Gastello with a $4.99 super chat. I'm glad I made the right decision to avoid Raw. Would rather wait for you to rip the bandage off this awful show. Keep up the great work, brother. You got it, Jonathan. 816 Life with a $5 super chat. JD, can you please tell me what the finisher was that Mace did on Xavier Woods? Also, can you call my friend Paris a fucking goon? Hashtag best podcast OTS. I don't know the name of it. It looked like a torture rack into a sidewalk slam. I don't know the name of it, nor do I care. Paris, you're a fucking goon, and 816 Life. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Jonathan Costello with a $2.99 super chat. Also, Battle of the Criers, Big Show versus Ricochet. Ricochet takes that by a country mile, bro. Otis Ent with a $2 super chat. Yo, JD, big fan. What is your favorite WrestleMania entrance? I actually don't even have one. I'd have to think about that and get back to you, Otis. I really don't have one. Matt Eagle with a $4.99 super chat. Why Fastlane? It'd make more sense to keep building towards WrestleMania. Oh, right. This is WWE. I almost forgot that they suck at building gripping storylines. Fastlane is not needed. I wish they'd put that effort into building Raw and SmackDown to be important shows during the road to WrestleMania. But what the fuck do I know? What do I know? I'm only the number one fucking show every night I'm live here. There's a reason for that, because I'm the best at what I do, man. Jedi Joker 93, $10 super chat. May be an unpopular opinion, but hear me out. I'm predicting Alexa Bliss wins the Royal Rumble and Bray Wyatt to return in the men's Rumble at number 30, and they both go on to win gold at Mania. JD, you're the best, man. No. No. Alexa could win the Royal Rumble and Bianca could win the Elimination Chamber. I could see it. But I think we're over Bray Wyatt winning gold. I think we have come to a conclusion that it doesn't work. So why would we do it a third time when they couldn't get it right the first two fucking times? Maurice Jackson, $4.99 super chat, and what a way to fuck Drew McIntyre, huh? The Louis XV Liquor segment is cool. Dapper and smooth, I must say. Lose the hat, bro. It's not that bad. It's cool seeing you in a different way. The liquor segment was awesome. It tasted fantastic. We're going to do more, man. Keep an eye out on the Instagram and the Twitter. Appreciate you guys. Devar Davis with a $5 super chat. How do you think Vince and Bruce would write Roman's heel turn over Paul? They wouldn't. He'd still be a babyface. Bro with glasses, $10 super chat. Wasn't Lacey bragging about being a strong role model and mother in a feud with Becky Lynch? Now she's trying to bang her co-worker's senior father. Who writes this shit? Bruce. And Ric Flair's in debt by 4 ex-wives, so I'm sure he needs the fucking money. DJ, $4.99. Lacey Evans looked more like a queen than the android in that robe, and I hope you win the Rumble. Oldberg. I don't know why you want Oldberg to win the Royal Rumble, man. And I hope you win the Rumble, that Oldberg. I don't know if you want me to win the Royal Rumble or Goldberg to win the Royal Rumble. I don't know. I'm not in the Royal. I declare, but I'm not entering. I pulled a bait and switch like WWE did tonight. Jacob Donnelly, what's up, brother? $5 super chat. Hard to believe Ricochet has 3 more years left on his contract unless he gets a complete reset. It's going to be a long and painful 3 years. I forgot the skit with Triple H and Stephanie, says Jesse. Who gives a shit? Jacob, Ricochet, I'd be crying myself to sleep for the next 3 years, man. How they do not see anything in him, I don't know. I don't. Israel with $5 super chat. I haven't watched this crap since last summer. I'd rather watch you, JD. You are more entertaining. I love when you said, I love you. Just said it once more. It's too late, bro. I don't want to wake up the neighbors. I love you. Jericho, 8131 with a super chat. $10, man. Whenever there's a young guy as world champion going into Mania season, they always sent Goldberg in to derail all of that. Owens in 2017, Bray last year, McIntyre this year. Goldberg is the new up-and-coming superstar, bro. I don't know what to tell you. G.I. Jet 1, $5 super chat. JD, I made that comment before the review. My bad. Do you think Belair vs. Banks will happen at Mania? Yes. I don't want to see it, though. I'd rather see Bayley versus Banks. Belair versus Banks, I think, is best saved for SummerSlam. But again, what the fuck do I know, man? I'm some internet idiot who lives in his mother's basement, who has 7 cats, and is a virgin. The fuck do I know? says the social media degenerates who sit there with a fucking anime thumbnail, avatar, and have a header of Mandy Rose in their Twitter profile. Justin Strickland, $4.99 Super Chat. I think Triple H should bring Asuka back to NXT since they have a better women's division and Asuka could have fresh feuds and matches in NXT. Well, NXT can't get everybody, bro. And even if they do, they still are not going to beat AEW on a weekly basis. Bud Artis with a $35 Super Chat. Dropping in to show my support, bro. Keep up the good work, JD. Bud, I love you, brother. Hopefully I see you on the Twitch stream tomorrow. Randy Shaddle with a $4.99 Super Chat. I see Bray coming back as a silent monster with Alexa as the mouthpiece calling the shots. I don't know, man. I could see that happening, actually. She was pretty much calling the shots because Alexa was his weakness. So the Fiend pretty much was being consumed by Alexa. In the end, anyway. But I could see her owning this character and really keeping the Fiend on a leash. Like, she went from needing him and now controlling him, and I could see that absolutely being the case. You gotta love it, man. Another one of these Australian fucking geeks. Thank you for donating so that I may go to Dunkin' Donuts and buy an egg and cheese wrap, which are now 2 for $4 at Dunkin' Donuts tomorrow morning with a large cold brew, 3 creams, and only 2 sugars. Thank you for donating to my coffee fund, you fucking geek. JD, I unsubbed WWE Rocks Demeter Bullion with an Australian 103 Super Chat. Demeter Bullion is as dumb as Bruce Pritchard. It's the second time he donated just to get his point across. And now, Jesse benched you. Thank you for the super chat, mate. Anyway, getting out of here, guys. I've been here long enough. Appreciate y'all. If you guys want more, tune in Wednesday. I'll be live with Jesse. Friday, SmackDown. Saturday, off the script. Appreciate you guys. Twitter, at JD from NY206. Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Hit that thumbs up, man. We got almost 1,400 still in the chat. 791 likes, man. Let's try and get to 850 before I get out of here, man. DrSquatch.com. Use code SCRIPTS. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. Bonfire.com for your t-shirts. And mouthmasker.com/OTS. Go and get your off-the-script face coverings. Guys, you know the deal. I'm taking my cold beverage. I'm getting in the Mustang. It's right outside. I see it right out my office window, man. You know the deal. Windows are down. Volume up to max. Let me see those guitar emojis in the chat. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday for AEW Dynamite. See you guys later. You know, I actually botched the outro. You know, I actually botched the fucking outro. Oh my God, man. No guitar solo because I didn't have the fucking speakers on. Oh my goodness, man. I'm a fucking goon. Oh my God, get the fuck out of here, man. I'll see you guys later.